everybody, and welcome to Moto3 live race coverage for the Japanese Grand Prix. The race is due underway in around about 5 minutes' time. If you're watching us live on Twitch, well done for getting up or staying up. If you're watching us delayed on YouTube, good afternoon to you. Let's have a word, Dennis.
Listen, the man alongside you, have you got something for him in the race today?
Well, there is a rider has a blue bike. He's so fast. For sure, the main target is him today. Anyway, I'm here to enjoy the race. I just want to be clever, fast as possible. If possible, fight for the win. If not, do the best as possible.
Have fun out there.
Thank you.
It's interesting. We saw Dennis walking around the paddock yesterday. Looked like he was walking with a little bit of a limp, but he's not let on that he's suffering any kind of injury at all. But he is up against it with Jaume Masia. How important is that start going to be?
Yeah, it's massive. Messia's got the pace. It's one of the rare Moto3 weekends where we could predict who's going to win the race. But he has to get away, Masia. He has to have a clean track in front of him. Unfortunately for Masia, everybody knows that. And when you've got someone like Dennis Onchu, he's very aggressive anyway. He's going to do everything he can to get in front of him. And that might even mean running himself and Masia wide. What it does, that takes away any momentum, any rhythm for Masia, and let's say disturbs it. So that'll be plan A for him, just to be really aggressive. So the last thing you'd want on your pit board is +0 Onchu, because you know it's going to come. He will let the brake off.
I wonder how Daniel Holgado is feeling as he sits on the grid at the moment. Jaume Masia level on points with him. He's led this championship all year. He could see a change in the leadership today. He's on the second row of the grid. And the thing with Holgado is he doesn't have the experience, or as much experience as the likes of Jaume Masia or Ayumu Sasaki there.
Interestingly, I was talking to Scott Ogden yesterday about this, and when he raced in Spanish Championship 2 years ago, Holgado won a lot of the races early on, and quite early in the championship could have won the championship. And then Scott said he completely bottled it and crashed, finished 7th, crashed again, and that momentum sort of carried on right until the very last race, when the second to last race, he pushed it across the line basically, won the championship. The next race he went out and won. So I don't know if that is now having an effect this season. He sort of got the momentum early, was leading the championship, and now we're at a point where all the pressure's on and it's getting to him. I don't know.
I was going to say, is that a pressure thing then, Neil?
100%. You see that a lot in riders' careers. It's one thing leading a championship, it's another one getting it over the line. As the races sort of whittle away, the pressure starts to build, and this is life-changing. You win a world championship, you're on your way, and he knows how important it is. So, but then you start to tense up, you get more nervous, you ride, we call it riding tight. It's a common thing that happens. And there's not a lot you can do about it, is there? You've just got to hope you don't totally bottle it.
Yeah, let's see how he performs in this race. A little bit further back on the grid, 6th row is Joel Kelso. Michael's getting his thoughts.
Joel, obviously looking for an aero advantage yesterday, but you got penalised, pushed you back a row in the grid, but all feeling okay?
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Not the ideal starting position, but yeah, we feel strong, so let's see today what we can do.
Good luck out there.
Cheers, mate.
Well, Joel is one of 3 riders that have had a 3-place grid penalty today. Joel Kelso, Diogo Moreira and Colin Via. Just explain what that was for, Taylor.
Yeah, so there was a mix of penalties. Over the weekend we had some that had been cheating effectively in Barcelona with a different oil. This weekend there's been a whole host of penalties for people taking the hand off the handlebar, moving it up onto the top of the fork leg or somewhere close because of the aerodynamic advantage that gives you. But it is in the rules that you can't do that. Obviously, it's dangerous taking your hand off the handlebar. If someone hits you at that point, it can cause a problem. So they've been penalised for that. We were told at the very beginning of the year that wasn't acceptable to do that, and it's been creeping in during the year, so they've handed out some penalties now.
Fair punishment?
I think so. The rules are the rules. Everyone knows the rules, and they've been sort of hoping that they didn't get caught doing it. It's a difficult thing to police because you have to watch all the bikes all the time to see someone doing it, and unfortunately they've been caught doing it now.
Okay, it is time then for the first race of the day here, the Japanese Grand Prix. It's Jaume Masia on pole position. Let me hand you over to Gav. Good morning.
Good morning, Nat.
Here we go then. Nobody's got any idea what we're going to see in the first race of the day for Moto3 here at the Japanese Grand Prix. Sit back and relax. It's the Japanese Grand Prix here for Moto3 at the Twin Wing Motegi. Juan Masia on pole position, Dennis Onchu is second, Matteo Bertoletti starts third, Stefano Nepper's fourth, Ivan Ortolu is fifth, Daniel Hologado lines up sixth on the grid, Amol Sasaki lines up seventh, David Munoz is eighth, David Alonso takes up in ninth, Colin Viju is 10th. Then it's Kaito Toba in 11th with Rushi Yakanama as well in 12th position. Taito Frizzo is 13th, followed by Diego Monrella, Jose Antonio Ruda from Takeshi Suzuki, Ricardo Rossi 17th, Joe Kelso 18th, Javier Artegas lines up 19th on the grid alongside David Almanza, Scott Ogden 21st, Filippo Falorelli is in 22nd, Safutin Azman is 23rd, Mario Argi 24th, Anna Carissa 25th, Lorenzo Fuller 26th, Joshua Whiteley is 27th. They ride off on their parade lap then around this Twin Wing Motegi circuit. 17 laps ahead of us. Let's check in with the guys at TNT Sports. Gavin Emmett alongside Neil Hodson.
Fantastic facility. Neil Hodson has finally been able to make it back to the commentary booth. And as they get going now, Neil, I know there's a little bit of sunshine trying to break through. You can see that. But it feels like there still might be a few areas on this racetrack where it could be tricky, especially, for example, the curbs and the long lap loop, for example.
Yeah, no, you've got a point there. You've got to use all the curbs on this track. You'll see, in fact, we saw in the MotoGP race quite a lot of track limits warnings. You can see some dark spots there. They are the damp patches. Problem is on the curbs, you can't actually see where they are because they're painted. So it's a tricky one, and the problem is with these really small Moto3 tyres, you clip a damp patch and you're going to be on your ear.
In the last 3 races, Jaume Masia has picked up 65 points. In the meantime, Dani Olgado has picked up just 13. They are joint leaders on 174, with Ayumu Sasaki just a further point behind. So how do you see this one going?
He's looked better this weekend as Olgado, but I thought it was interesting what Taylor McKenzie said about how Dani Olgado won the Junior World Championship, and it sounds like he almost didn't, you know. Pressure's a strange thing, and we might find ourselves in a situation where he ends up falling further back in the championship, and then he rides more freely. Who knows? There's still, is it 7 races to go?
7 including this one, Neil.
Exactly. So a lot of points up for grabs.
175 still on the table.
When you say it like that, there's a long way to go. So
what we do have learnt from Olgado is he's a hard charger early on, isn't he, in races, likes to get to the front. And this is a track that offers those opportunities. So tactics-wise, from Jaume Masia on pole, Olgado, there he is, he'll go from the second row. He'll have the inside line down towards turn 1. I did notice in the MotoGP sprint race, a couple of people hanging it up on the outside. And I will say on the Moto3 bike in particular, it's almost like you can swoop around there. It's going to be intriguing, this start.
Oh yeah, turn 1. Well, it's turn 1 and 2 because basically it's a big hairpin, but they call it turn 1 and 2. There's multiple lines around there. I think that's the best way to answer that one. So you just have to react, see what's going on really in front of you, and just react to it.
We're about to find out whatever is going to happen. 17 laps ahead of us for the Moto3 Japanese Grand Prix here at Twin Wing Motegi. The lights will come on one at a time, and then we'll all go. Everyone watching all the MotoGPs, that's Bagnaia still in his leathers from the warm-up session an hour ago. Green flag is in the back. It's overcast here at Twin Wing Motegi. It will be all eyes towards those 5 red lights. They're activated now. It's lights out in Japan. It's a good start from the 82 of Stefano Nepper. He'll go up into second position. Pole sitter Stefano Nepper does not get a great getaway at all. And into turn 1, Stefano Nepper will go head-to-head with Dennis Onchu. Onchu leads into the first corner as they come into 1 and 2. Down now towards 2 and 3, the hairpin. Going on the green there was the 77. That's going to be for Rizzo as well. Someone sounds like they've stalled on the grid. Can't see who that is. It could be Lorenzo Felon as they sweep into turn 2 and 3. Now, Masia down into about 5th position. Up in there, on we go. There we go, though. Toiler, Masia, Sasaki making up a couple of positions there as well. A few bits of raindrops on the camera. Dennis Onchu's been told mapping 4 now from his controls as they come in towards turn 5 and 6. Sasaki trying to go on the inside line there of Ortola. Hasn't worked out as they continue to fire back through. So, Toba's passing. And what's happened to David Almanza? And what's happened to Anna Carissa? She's dropped right back to 27th position as well. So there's a couple of riders shifting position. Yamanaka, most notably down to 13th position after starting in 10th. No jump start, says Race Control. That's the best thing that we can hear at the moment. But Onshu leads the way from Daniel Hologado in second position. So the two in the championship hunt pretty much 1, 2, 4. But Hologado being in P2 was the perfect start that he needed to do as they come in towards turn 10 at the hairpin, before going down towards turn 11. It's a downhill section of the track now, so this is where we're going to start to see a lot of front brakes as well being churned up, a lot of front energy as well needing to be released on the braking power ever so slightly, just taking on the brakes, taking on the inside, as up the inside as there Alonso having a battle side by side with Ortola. Ortola still got the position on the inside line. Alonso on the gas, trying to hold it round the outside line, hasn't worked out unfortunately. First of the 17 laps complete, Len, and it's Dennis Onshu leading the way from Hologado, 4/10 then to Nepa and Masia, and the rest of the battle that is ensuing here at Japan as they make their way through turns 1 and 2. Let's check in with TNT.
But it's still Onshu leading across the line with Olgado second. Nepa's made an excellent start. Mazia and Sasaki will look to pick him off. They don't want Onshu to get away. You still feel like Mazia might have a 10th or 2 in hand, won't be too stressed. I wouldn't have thought at this stage about Onshu and Olgado out there.
No, you're absolutely right. Like I say, plan A was for Messia to try and get into the lead. He's got the pace to break away. At this point, early on, there's 16 laps to go. You just want to settle down, see how the grip level is, and he's doing it nicely now. That was a really clean pass. Work your way up to the lead, bide your time, and then pull the pin.
Up to third then for the joint championship leader, behind the rider now who he co-leads with, as Sasaki now also makes the move into the S's on a Moto3 bike. That is a bit of a classic move around Motegi, and then in the right-hand part, Sasaki just closes the door once more. I think Sasaki's doing the right thing. He's not going to attack Mazia now. It's sticking behind him.
Yeah, you know what to do. It's like, right, Messia's got the pace. There's no point in being silly. Let's just sit here, let him drag us up towards the leading two. And also, you get a chance to look at what Messia's doing. He's been the fastest man all weekend. They're on different bikes. One's on a KTM, the other's Husqvarna, and the other's on a Honda. But are there certain little details with lines that he's taking that you can learn from?
Often we've seen this year, haven't we, that the Husky or the KTM has the pull out the corner, has that instant aggression, and is better on the brakes. But I don't know, something with Mazia this weekend looks like he's just able to match them. Yeah,
well, actually, again, listening to Taylor McKenzie, who's been out on the track watching. When you see Messia ride that Honda, he's making the difference, carrying that corner speed. The way he rides is pretty impressive. He's gone up a gear this year, hasn't he?
Yeah.
He really has. It's just been taking so much more pace and so much more time. It's been really impressive to see how they've done it. It's up the inside then as well. That's Monrella passing Munoz over 7th position on the inside line in the first corner. So, good start, a clean start, and a fair start from everybody so far. That's exactly what we needed to see. It's exactly what we were hoping to see as well on the TV pictures, was a nice, smooth run. Kaito Toba up into 12th position, but Hologado then versus Messia, and now Sasaki getting in the mix. Everyone's starting to form back up together again here at Motegi. Messia does a 1:57.3. Sets the fast lap of the race so far. Overall, that record here was 2014 in Moto3 with Alex Marquez as well. So it's been standing for 9 years, nearly the 10, as they come through. Firing in, Onshu leading still. And Monrella just about holding off Munoz, who's right behind, trying to find a way back through. So, Onshu leading this race as Messia under attack from Sasaki. And yep, everyone now, I think, in their own little battles. It's 2 by 2 by 2 by 2 at the moment in this field. And then there's like a 6-rider battle further back, starting with David Alonso in 9th position. So the top 8 really are in a battle between 2 by 2s on their own. As Alonso nearly touches the green, Munoz has a run down the hill on Monrella, and now Messia has caught up to Daniel Hologado, just 7 points between them in the title. How much Hologado's lost out on it. Munoz to the inside line, gets ahead of Diego Monrella, and further back Alonso and Yamanaka having a battle. Now Yamanaka has got ahead of Alonso for 9th position, so Yamanaka up into 9th, Alonso to 10th. Look at Cristina Vietti, he's now down to 11th, sorry, that's Colin Vigia in 11th position. CVEI is the same as in Moto2, so it's hard to tell sometimes. Masia versus Sasaki though, that's the fast start battle. It goes to Sasaki at 1:57.064. Manios versus Alonso, Manios versus Monrella, and there goes Vigia trying to get ahead as well. So it's all now starting to come through in this little battle in the braking zones.
About it, Gav, if someone
Sasaki's going for it there. I don't know if that was quite... I think he just got a really good drag behind Mazir and then thought, well, I'm going to have to go for it.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Made it stick. He was the fastest rider on track last time. How much has he been keeping his cards close to his chest this weekend? Because he hasn't had the out-and-out pace we've seen at other rounds, but it's Sasaki, and we're in Japan. He was on the podium here last year behind 2 riders that are no longer in the class. He's got pedigree around this venue.
He so has, and can you imagine, he's not had a win all year, and I think he's getting bored of every time he's interviewed, people saying, oh, is this weekend going to be the one? But imagine, it's his home Grand Prix, he lives in Barcelona, but for him to win at home in Japan...
Well, his mum's here. That's the main thing, isn't it? He wants to...
You always go faster when your mum's here.
Exactly.
That's a known fact.
Yeah, but he's so happy to have his family around him. He is a bit of a home bird, isn't he?
He is.
A bit of a family lad.
He's a lovely gentleman. He's the most unracer-like guy I know in this paddock, actually.
Until you get him on the racetrack.
No, he's got everything you need to be a champion, but softly spoken. Do you know what? He's a credit to his mum.
Here goes...
Sasaki on the inside line, Hologado getting through on the inside line into turn 10. Hologado really is holding that gap. At the moment, the gap between Hologado and Sasaki in the championship is only 5 points. Masia 7 points back. So the top 3 in the... and well, actually, even on choose, 22 points back. So the top 4 in this race and the top 4 in the championship. Hologado 194 points. 5 back is Sasaki, 189. 7 back is Masia, 187. 22 back Onchu, 172. As things stand at the moment in this race. So this is the championship fight we are watching here at Twinkling Motegi. As they fire it on, Onchu just needs to keep winning this race. Hologado cannot let Sasaki or Masia past him, because then he starts losing out on the championship advantage that he has held for several months now as well in this race. He's held it so long in the Moto3 World Championship. Oh, Hologado nearly touching the green, and that's going to give Sasaki the launch down towards turn 4. He looks to the inside line. He'll go down the brakes. Sasaki can't find a way through. Hologado has to back out of it. Meantime, Vigia up the inside gets ahead of David Alonso in a nice move on the inside line. So Vigia passing Alonso, Fiorizzo passing Yamanaka as well on the timing towers. And now the racing can continue. Onchu leads, Hologado, Sasaki, Masia. The Turkish rider from the Spanish, the Japanese and the Spanish. Can Sasaki win on home soil? Japan, that's a question that might just become relevant later on as well. For Amul Sasaki on the 71 bike, it would be his 3rd ever win in Moto3 if he can do it, to go alongside victories at the Netherlands and Austria last year, the TT Assen. New lap record from Sasaki. Alex Marquez's 2014 best lap record of 1:57.112 has now been beaten by Sasaki, a 1:57.064, so 48 thousandths faster. So we're going to go to the inside line, down 10-10. Sasaki's going to go for 2nd position and gets ahead of Daniel Hologado, and that's crucial for the World Championship. And now can Sasaki hold off and get after Onchu coming out of turn 1. So Sasaki has the pace. We're on lap 5, about to start lap 6 of 17 with 12 laps to go. So there's an awful long way still to run, and Hologado coming under a bit of pressure from Masia. And Sasaki looks to the inside line at turn number 1 to try and get ahead of Dennis Onchu. Onchu takes it in wide. Sasaki takes a tighter line through 1 hairpin. Down to 2 and 3, a double left-hand hairpin that sort of doubles up on each other. Sasaki thought about braking late, just didn't want to try it. Onchu stays ahead of him. And now Hologado's right in the back. Oh, hang on a minute, that's Masia. Masia's passed Hologado. So Masia is up into 3rd position. Hologado's down to 4th. But by my calculation, that's going to change the complexion of the championship to put Sasaki in the championship lead with Masia 2nd, Hologado down to 3rd place at the moment in the championship. So it's all changed once again. Yep, Sasaki leads 193 points to Masia 190, and now Hologado only on 187. And crucially, the further Hologado drops back, the more Onshu gets back in the mix. He's at 21 points back. So Sasaki becomes our new championship leader and Masia goes to second by pushing Hologado back. But Masia wants to have a go at Sasaki, and he's going for it now at turn 7 and 8, and he gets through. So Masia takes second. Sasaki's just going to wait for it. Coming out of turn 9 into turn 10's hairpin. Masia takes the championship lead, and here comes Sasaki back on the inside line to the braking zone. Can't get through. So now Masia takes the title lead. It's changing dramatically.
Concern. Oh, bit out of the seat moment.
Yeah, little slide there, especially on one of these little Moto3 bikes. The rear started to step out, especially on a slow corner like that. Makes it a little bit harder to control. Here we go, the slipstream effect. What's going to happen here?
Everyone's
the old diving, like I say, it's really steep downhill into turn 11. And it's a narrow racing line in there. That's why we see a lot of contact over the years.
It's horrible, really, isn't it?
It's a horrible corner, yeah, it is.
Already we're getting our track limits warning starting to appear on our screens, and it's Jose Antonio Rueda who is a little bit further back in the order, back down in 17th out of the points at the moment. Here comes
Masia goes for it on the inside line. It's turn 1. Masia takes the lead of the Japanese Grand Prix. And that's going to extend his championship rival now. So that puts him on 199, 10 clear of Sasaki. And 12 clear of Hologado. Onshu now goes 32 points back. Masia trying to go around the outside. Sasaki coming through on the inside. And that's going to put Onshu down into 3rd position. So Onshu drops back to 3rd. Hologado to 4th. So it's Masia leading, Sasaki 2nd. But how long for?
If we had heart rate monitors on these 4 riders, you'd see the heart rate has instantly increased. I'm going to keep my eye on the lap times as well. Can Masia stretch this group out? I think he can.
Last lap was a 57.8 from Onshu. Remember, we've seen a 57.0 from Sasaki. You think Masia has 56s in him. He qualified in a 56.3 yesterday, and now Holgado! Oh, that is so tight. That was so tight into the S's on Onshu.
I can't believe both riders didn't go down there. That looked like there was about to be contact. It's a fast corner. That's about 120 miles an hour into there.
Must have been
that's a warning.
Squeezing right to the point of the corner, and then having to pull on more because basically Onshu was laying the bike in the corner. There was no room for the pair of them.
Well, it feels awful when someone leans on you in that situation because there's not a lot you can do. You become a bit of a passenger. Let's look at the speed of this Honda. Is it any good? Better than I was expecting out of the corner. We're going to see the slipstream effect start about now. Look,
and here comes Sasaki.
At that point.
Sasaki to the inside line, trying to get ahead towards the braking zone. Hasn't worked out this time towards turn 11. Just got to find the right way through it, and they're just going to keep it calm, and it will come to them. The race will come. Just got to take their time and know when to push and know when not to push. Across the line then. 10 laps to go in the Japanese Grand Prix for Moto3. Masia, Sasaki, as they're coming towards turn 1, Hologado trying to have a look on the inside line of Onshu. The 4 title riders running 1, 2, 3, 4. And Masia desperately wants to win this race to get back in title hunt. Hologado trying to go on the outside of Onshu. Not working out there. Hologado being 12 back, so 5 points extra. Yeah, even if Hologado was in 3rd place, it wouldn't give him the championship lead back from that of Masia Sasaki. Sasaki looking to the inside line at turn 4. Not going to work out, so they're all just biding their time.
With Ayumi Sasaki, you do feel like he's braking that little bit later, but that means he has to scrub off more speed.
That's what it looks like. That's the KTM engine. That's the way you really extract a better lap time is making.
I thought that was going to be aggressive.
So did he. I think Onshu thought he was going to have a go. Yeah, the Honda's always been a bit more of a corner speed bike. The KTM's Husqvarna's are a little bit more stop and go. It's tight, isn't it?
I just wondered there was Masia just a little bit sluggish on exit from the S's because I felt like Sasaki had to just sit up ever so slightly.
He did.
Do you know, there are points in the race you get to the front and you don't show your cards straight away. You do 2 or 3 laps. Like, let's say 2 or 3 tenths off, you know what you can do. You keep your eye on your pit board. If it's plus 0, you control that. Then, if you get like plus 0.3, you think, right, now I'm going to go on braking them.
He might not get the chance here. This is Sasaki, and he was alongside ever so briefly, but Masia strong on the brakes down into turn 11. Keeps Sasaki at bay. I think Sasaki, if he wants to do it, wants to make a clean pass of it, of course. And I'm not sure it would have been.
No, you feel like that's a dry run, really. He's having a look, isn't he? And also, whilst he's having a look, he's also defending to make sure that no one has a go on him. Pass or be passed. It's funny.
Definitely running into the corners,
yeah,
with more pace on
They're
the,
all
on
running
the
wide.
Husqvarna and the KTM. But then mid-corner, you do see the Honda just having a little bit more. And of course, you carry every single one of those miles per hour down that straight. It's a bit of a seesaw effect.
So coming back through, look at Sasaki right back, trying to have a look in towards turn 4 and 5. Is he going to go for it? No. It's not wise for Sasaki to take the lead this early in the race. Meantime, the 44 of David Munoz versus the 10. Whoops, getting close with Diego Manuela. And through goes David Munoz into 7th position, getting a nice move on the inside line. So here comes Munoz. Oh, hello. This is into 2nd position for Onchu. Onchu's past Sasaki down at the S's. That was a little bit of a slipstream battle. He just threw the bike up the inside line. Surprised Sasaki. It's given Masia a 2/10 advantage just to breathe a little bit. But in the braking zone, that Red Bull KTM Joe's just closed up massively once again. So Onchu back up there. Sasaki's going to want to take 2nd place back, but now here comes Holgado. So now Masia leads the title by 10 points, not the 6. And he's going to want that because it'll bring Onchu back into it, but not by much. Right, here it is. So what happened to Sasaki? 2nd rider in the pack. Oh, he just had to back out of it because Onchu threw it up the inside. I think that's going to surprise Sasaki massively, that Onchu made that type of manoeuvre. Onto the braking zone then. It's all rectified coming into turn 10. Sasaki to the inside line, repasses Onchu. Onchu tries to get the slipstream coming out of it. Hasn't worked out. That's going to allow Holgado to have a little bit of a run. And they all close up once again then. The top 4 at the front. Masia, Sasaki, Onchu, Holgado closed back up here in the Japanese Moto3 Grand Prix. In towards turn number 1 then. Flicked the bike in. Oops, Masia had a little bit of a moment and Sasaki was closing in on him. I thought Sasaki was going to hit the back of him for a second, how close he got there. They are literally the top 3 running a line. Holgado's dropped back a little bit. There's a little bit of raindrops on the camera lens. Little into the slipstream battle at turn 4. Holgado to the outside, not going to work out. Onchu can't get ahead of Sasaki or Masia, so they all just change out once again.
Yellow flag.
Yellow, sector 1, Artigas.
Sector 1.
Artigas.
I'm hazarding a guess of a Moreira Munoz, but I've no idea. It's Xavi Artigas. Well, we've been asking all weekend, where has he gone from the rider we saw at the start of the season? And unfortunately, he's the first rider to crash out of this race.
There he is.
Fall from grace at the start of the year. Former Grand Prix winner, of course, Artigas.
Unreal. Just lost all his pace.
Has kept his ride, though, for next year.
Has he?
Yeah.
Does he bring money?
Well,
Valencia 21,
I'll
I'll
take
take this
the ins
one.
and outs of the deal, but Joel Kelso's on his way out of that team, and he's staying in it.
Yeah, well, I'll take this one in Valencia 2021, of course. He's won an early Moto3 win in this class. In fact, everyone in this class has only ever been in Moto3. They've never progressed up. Sasaki taking 2nd position away from Onchu. Otola being told about a target time to get ahead of Nepa as well, and to try and close up the 2nd gap in the top 4 they've brought out. There's 8 to go, and now the battle is on, and they've got to start closing in together again.
So maybe there is something in that one.
Into
A
the
lot of
break
people
zone.
think in Moto3, you know, some of these front runners actually will be getting a salary, and throughout the field, probably small salaries. There might be some getting us on.
Wild. This is
Whoa!
wild.
Oh my goodness
What
me.
a silly move. Why are you doing that with 8 laps to go?
Onchu threw it up the inside line at victory corner, and now he's going to go side by side with Sasaki, but here comes Holgado. All that's done is given Holgado the run to go on the inside line, 3 wide into 1. Yeah, Onchu backs out of it. Sasaki's going to get forced wide, and Onchu will go through, but he's let Holgado through as well. So Sasaki back down to 4th position. Why on earth Dennis Onchu decided to throw it up the inside of victory corner, I don't know. And now he's weaving on the straight to try and get ahead of Holgado. What is he doing? He's going to launch up the inside of Holgado. So now that's taken Holgado wide. And now Sasaki's going to slip back through on the inside of him. So status quo returned. And Holgado back to 3rd position. But Onchu now back into 3rd position. What is going on? That was silly from Onchu. Silly.
He's going to have to ride the wind here to try and keep tabs on Masia, because otherwise he's gone. It's 0.7 now.
I literally feel like putting my microphone down and start clapping Dennis Onchu.
A slow hand clap.
What are you doing? Have Have you learned nothing about motorcycle racing? Whilst you battle now, go on, carry on, dive up the inside, that's it. We lose another 1/10 of a second. This is... It's good.
Look at Sasaki's right, yeah, Sasaki's wiping his head.
It's like, what are you doing now? So let's look
Hands
at the
up,
lead.
hands
And
up
it did
too.
tap the back of his bike.
It's 0.6 of a second now, Masia. Masia's going to see his pit board and he's going to think all his Christmases have come at once.
Yeah, and look at that. So Hologato's looking behind him. So Zach, you got a yellow flag, sector 3. Bertoletti's crashed out. So Onchu, oh, and he's crashed it. Onchu's down. Well, that was predictable, unfortunately, and I think deserved as well. Onchu's gone down at turn 10, and he's thrown it away. That's his title hope's gone completely, and I think he deserves it because Dennis Onchu's learned absolutely nothing, and now here comes the battle between the two teammates because that's all Tola passing Nepa, and now they've caught up.
Misdescending. From time to time, he's an incredible rider. We all rate him. He's got a lot of feel. He's super aggressive. But then he has the brain fade or the red mist or his chimp comes out, whatever analogy. But it's really clear to see. And, well, obviously, he's ended up in the gravel.
And we're going to go again here, aren't we, with Olgado. The gap
Oh!
was... Olgado almost went down in turn 1 there. The gap on the previous lap was nothing. It's 1.2 seconds across the line now. It'll probably be 2 now that Olgado and Sasaki, and look at Ortola and Nepa lurking in the background.
Brilliant.
When we get around here, and Ayumu Sasaki, for all his sitting tight in behind, maybe there is something to be said for challenging Mazia if there was more pace in the racetrack, because Mazia just did a 57.9 on the previous lap. But unfortunately, it could well be his chance of victory is gone.
Yeah. I mean, it's all about Ayumu Sasaki now. He's got decent pace, but he has to put a qualifying lap together. He's got to be perfect. Look at him now. He's stretching it a little bit from Olgado. In fact, yeah, the gap is coming down. He's found 0.2 in that first split.
0.3 now through the second split for Ayumu Sasaki. He is working his socks off here.
Yeah, this is going to be some lap time from Ayumu Sasaki.
Yeah, well done. And he's tagging Hologado.
We know that. We could see that. He was sitting in behind Mazia. And Onchu just felt like he wasn't doing enough. Challenged, he went down. Olgado, maybe he doesn't quite have the pace to go at the front. He knows how it's damage limitation for me. So that's why he's making life tough for Sasaki as Yamanaka comes through on David Munoz. We saw Patelli crash out of this group on the previous lap. And keep an eye on our gap at the front now. Still at 1 second.
Sasaki's trying his hardest with the battle further back.
Up a second as things stand. This is the scrap for 6th, and
it is a scrap, isn't it? You can tell every time you look at it.
These sorts of races for David Alonso are possibly, because he's 4th in the championship, we must remember, but they're possibly the sort of races where, as a rookie, the experience is possibly going to tell.
Yeah, and it is really hard if you're a rookie and you're in one of those situations. The leaders have got away, and then you end up in a group with real battlers, and you all instantly, you're going to be stuck there.
Yeah, Alonso at the back of that group, 5.4 seconds down on Mazia out front. So is there anything that Sasaki can do? He was only a 10th quicker than Mazia on that last lap, and of course with just under 5 to go, it wouldn't be enough.
Onchu's managed to rejoin the race apparently, presumably that will come back to
is
the pits.
labouring, isn't he, actually, to stay on the back of this group. Having to work so hard. Here comes Munoz riding through the inside of Yamanaka's leg. They both stay on, thankfully.
Onchu's got back to the pit lane, so that was his original plan, just to go straight through. There he is, Dennis Onchu back into the pit lane. And he'll get a serious telling off. He had a good opportunity to get closing in the championship hunt. Now he's lost it. Cameras are there too. Masia leads this race. There he is back in the garage. So Masia leading by 1.1 second to Sasaki now, with 4.5 laps to go of the Japanese Grand Prix. Now Sasaki's just got to keep Hologado behind him and make sure he keeps him behind him for the rest of this race. That's the battle, that's the key. Just to keep it together and keep it holding tight.
Easy is it for him to say that sat here than when you are in the heat of that battle with Ayumu Sasaki?
Which is a really good question. So what you've got to explain, we're talking about Akiayo, who's the team owner, who's got a lot of experience, who's created a lot of world champions. He's one of the most well-respected men in the paddock. he can explain to you clearly, going, just imagine if you'd have just stayed calm, if you'd have carried on doing what you were doing. And don't get me wrong, when it comes to a last lap, you're going to have to let the brake off, you're going to have to be aggressive, you're going to have to attempt to make a pass, but why do it with 9 laps to go? Because all you've done is basically you've let Messier get away, you've got worked up, I mean, it was clear to see, and you've ended up in the gravel. Learn from your mistakes, you've got to, or you don't. And your career isn't quite as good as you would have hoped it would be. But what we see with Dennis Onchu, Gav, as you're well aware, is a lot of talent.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt.
Suzuki's crashed out. Takiki Suzuki has crashed out at turn 1.
Oh, and that's why you need to sit down and why don't we watch the race again?
So this is
And like I
Suzuki
said,
going down.
I'd have him explain to me, that's the crash from Suzuki. Explain to me why you're doing that, what you think you're achieving. What are your thoughts?
Radios.
Is that what you're saying to Dennis Onshore, or are you asking me?
No, I was asking you, actually. Oh, yeah.
I agree. No, of course I agree, wholeheartedly agree, because I think we've all read the situation the same way. He's a hard charger, and it's those moments, isn't it, that he just needs to cut out, because if he does, he is a serious talent.
Yeah.
That's Suzuki completely out.
You can teach a fast, aggressive rider to stop crashing and making mistakes, but you can't teach a slow rider to be fast. Or something like that.
I think that's about it. Right, the gap, 0.9. Mazier's pushing. Hasn't quite had the pace I expected. 57.8s he's been pulling out. Maybe, I wouldn't say you'd save something at that stage when you've got that second lead. But 57.8 from the front 3.
No, it'll be the Messier's on his limits at that, because with you are not comfortable when it's 0.1, 0.9. You need more of a gap.
It was 1.1 he saw last time. He will have seen less than a second. 0.3 of a second on that last lap from Sasaki to Mazier with 3 laps remaining in the Japanese Grand Prix. Is there a chance of the Japanese rider? He's pulling on Olgado, giving Olgado no chance to stick with him. He was almost a tenth quicker than Olgado on that previous lap. Look how hard he is working now to claw back the gap to Jaume Mazier and possibly give these fans something to cheer about.
The sort of the problem is now, though, if you're Sasaki, you're behind, and it's like, do I risk everything for the win, or do I think of the bigger picture? I want to be world champion. The gap's come down another tenth. I think that answers the question. He's going for the win, isn't he?
Wants to get that monkey off his back for this year.
It's a fair gap. Oh, I mean, saying 0.7 of a second, that looks bigger to me.
It definitely does, doesn't it, from the helicopter? It has gone back out to 0.8.
If it stays at 0.8, if Messier gets 0.8 with 2 laps to go, literally, you know you've done it. All you've got to do then, and again, I know it's easy to say it, is just 2 more laps at that pace. There's no way someone like Sasaki can all of a sudden find 0.4 of a second a lap on you. Just about being clean now. No mistakes, precise.
So Jaume Mazier is looking for back-to-back wins. Dominated in India. And in this race, it's been a much closer affair. But he is riding the wheels off that Leopard Honda into turn 11 for Ayumu Sasaki. Ever so slight bobble on the front there. Maybe a little bump as he dropped it down into turn 11. Sasaki, he's got the marker. He has got
he's closing him in now.
In range, in his sights at least, to just try. And it's one of those tracks, we talk about it in some places, that doesn't always help to have that marker in front of you, because you know, trying to cheat off time where you haven't got it. But a racetrack like this, you feel it might be possible. On that last lap, Mazier responded, Neil.
Yeah, incredible. Messier's, like I say, he's on his absolute limit. Pulled out a tenth. It's 0.9 of a second with 2 laps to go. If you're Ayumu Sasaki in second place now, you've got to start thinking about the championship. Like I said, you can't find any extra time, and really, you're just hoping Messier makes a mistake.
The other thing is, you want to keep Olgado at bay. It is our top 3 in the championship, the top 3 in this race. Olgado has not had a podium since Austria, so he's looking to get back on the box. Mazier looking to make up for that last lap error last time in India, where he lost second place, really, to his teammate Colin Vaya. Well, his teammate obviously went down, and then Kaito Toba came through to take it from him. So he's looking to claw back some of Mazia's advantage.
Suzuki's back in the pit lane then, so that's going to be one less in the overall race distance. 6 points, 199. So annoying, it couldn't be 200 in the championship, but it'll go to 6 and 9 for Masia, Sasaki, Holgado. The 1, 2, 3 in this race are the new 1, 2, 3 in the World Championship for Moto3. Been a crazy couple of rounds. Masia's going to win back-to-back. One in India, one here. Oh, he's getting twitchy into turn 11 as well. Maybe I should hold my words a little bit to the last lap. Stefano Neppa ahead of Ivan Ortola. Doesn't look like they're going to switch over. We thought they might at one point in the race. Alonso is back up to 8th position now. Was 11th a few laps ago, so he's now Toba's dropped back to 8th, so Alonso goes to 7th. If Alonso can clear Diego Monrella for 6th, it'll get him to 38 points back in the title with 6 races to go after today. So there is time and space worth it. This is the last lap though at the Twin Ring Motegi for the Moto3 Grand Prix. They'll push hard, they'll fight hard as they come onto the attack into the braking zone. Holds the inside line very nicely indeed. Masia lead 8/10 of a second. This is the battle for 6th at the moment. Monrella ahead, then it's Alonso. And Alonso is right up there too, but he's got a pressure from Toba. Alonso goes to the inside line, turn 4, rear the brakes a bit squiggly, and oops! Up the inside goes Munoz with Colin Vaya in 10th and Toba up there too. So they'll change positions a little bit. I think Sasaki and Holgado have locked out their positions as well. So it looks like that's got that sorted at least. As there goes Munoz on the inside line trying to get Alonso. Alonso's going to get forced out wide. Munoz a bit cheeky there. Don't really like that. It's not really the fair game run around there. Not the best opportunity. I hope we don't miss Masia crossing the line because of this irrelevant battle for 6th position. It's not the relevancy that we need to see. Yes, it's a good scrap, but it's not. It's artificial. As there goes Toba on the inside line, getting ahead of Vijay Yamanaka. Down to 11th. Here's the battle at the front that we wanted to see because Sasaki is under pressure from Holgado. Holgado goes late at turn 11 on the inside line. He gets ahead. Sasaki's going to try and get the cut back for 2nd position. Has Holgado just taken 2nd place back in the championship? That could be a very crucial thing. 5 points now, the gap. It looks like he's done it. Out of victory corner. It's cloud 9 for Juan Masia, who wins the Japanese Grand Prix before the back. Holgado versus Sasaki is close to the line to photo finish, and Sasaki gets him. Sasaki gets him at the line. Sasaki on home soil finishes 2nd. It's a drag race to the line by 56 thousandths of a second. Sasaki finishes ahead of Daniel Holgado. A very nice move there. Very nicely done. Masia wins the Japanese Grand Prix. Sasaki is in 2nd. It's back-to-back wins in Moto3 for Juan Masia. It gives him the championship lead with 6 races to go. Holgado congratulates him as well. Sasaki finishes P2. Ferroli gives a congratulations to Masia as well. He's crying his eyes out. Masia wins. Sasaki 2nd. Holgado 3rd in the Japanese Grand Prix. So let's confirm how they finished then, as everyone has now crossed the line. It's Juan Masia who takes victory. He's then followed by Sasaki and Holgado across the podium. That's our new 1, 2, 3 in the World Championship. Further down, we get to see Stefano Neppa and Ivan Ortola, followed by David Munoz and David Alonso. Kaito Toba is 8th, Rishi Yamanaka is in 9th, and Jose Antonio Ruda rounds out top 10. Colin Vaya is in 11th, from Tassito Ferrucci in 12th. Riccardo Rossi ahead of Diego Monrella. Joel Kelso in 15th, rounding out the points-paying positions. Out of the points, Filippo Foloroli, David Almanza, Scott Ogden, Safudin, Asman, Joshua Whiteley, Lorenzo Felon, Anna Carisso, and Mario Aigi out of the race and retiring. Tazuki Suzuki, Dennis Onshu, Matteo Bertoletti, and Javier Artegas. In terms of how the world standings now look, this is how it goes, because Juan Masia now takes the championship lead on 199 points. He is 6 clear to Amul Sasaki and 9 clear to Daniel Holgado. Very close fight in the championship brewing with 6 races to go. After this, David Alonso is now moved up into 4th position. Dennis Onchu drops down to 5th. And then Ivan Ortola to 6th, Monrella 7th, Ruda, Nepa and Kaito Toba rounds out the top 10. Then it's Munoz, Artegas, Vaya, Yamanaka, Suzuki, Rossi, Salvador, Frenati, Ogden, Bertoletti, Kelso, Farizzo, Munoz, Faroli, Asman, Argy and Joshua Whiteley on 1 point. The 27 riders who have scored points so far in 2023. Weather conditions out there, well, that was a good one as well. Track temperature 33 degrees, cloudy at 25, air temperature 78% humidity, 8 km/h wind speed blowing in from the east-southeast direction as well. So there's a lot still to look forward to. Just a reminder, what's coming up here on the channel. We're going to stay for our podium ceremony in a second, but the Moto2 race, that's live on Twitch. So if you're watching us on Twitch live, just stay with us. 5:10 British Summer Time. In around about 30 minutes' time is the Moto2 race, and then at 6:50 until 8, it's the MotoGP Grand Prix as well from Japan. That's live both on YouTube and on Twitch. Let's hand it back over then to the TNT commentary team. Take us through towards the podium.
Welcome back to the Grand Prix of Japan, where Ivan Ortola just lost out in a scrap with his teammate Stefano Nepa at the end. 5th place for him, though, and for Ortola, that's his best result since Austria. So something to build on, but you feel now his championship challenge may well have faltered. Ayumu Sasaki across the line in 2nd in the end. Yeah, we'll talk more about that move from Olgado and Sasaki, because I'm sure last year that a similar sort of thing happened with Dennis Foggia in the battle. But the rider who inherited Foggia's bike, Jaume Masia, back-to-back wins for him, for the Leopard team, and now Neil Hodgson, the solitary leader in the World Championship by 6 points. What a turnaround from where we were with the mechanical after Austria.
Yeah, unreal, unreal. And look at his body language. You can see what it means to him, the effort that he's been putting in. I'm so pleased for him. It's nice when you see a rider work so hard through the weekend, work on the race setting, and actually it made it so it wasn't a classic race, but basically the best man won.
Well, down to him, though, as in terms of, it's not his problem, is it? He just goes on and takes that full 25 points as Jake Dixon gets involved with Ayumu Sasaki. 2nd place on home soil. I'll be so pleased to do that here. Another podium in the bag. And he is still in the World Championship hunt there. 6 points now behind Masia. Back-to-back podiums, of course. Back on the podium trail after, I will say, Barcelona and Misano were 2 difficult rounds for him.
Yeah, a couple of difficult rounds, but I respect that he didn't throw it away. He picked up points. It doesn't look great, does it? You know, finishing low down, but it's those races you forget about. It's about winning the World Championship, and it's in 2nd place.
It's been a decent crowd over the weekend,
really
hasn't
good.
there? A little bit down, I felt, this morning compared to where we were yesterday, just because of the rain. When we came in this morning, it was, the rain was falling. There is talk rain will come for MotoGP time, according to my Japanese colleagues I was speaking to in the media centre.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I'm hoping it does. I'm ready for a wet MotoGP race, or a flag to flag. We've not had one of them for a while. Yeah,
it'd be interesting to see with just 8 points separating them in the title there. Just 9 points separate this 3. For Daniel Olgado, we talked about Ivan Ortola since Austria. He hasn't had a podium since Austria, so Olgado just finding his mojo again.
Yeah, and not a bad time to do it now. We've got a weekend off, and then we're off to Indonesia, Australia and Thailand. It should be good.
Yeah, 3 very different puzzles, aren't they, if you think about them. Mandalika has a little bit of everything, really grippy track, but you could get all kinds of weather. You get all kinds of weather at Phillip Island, but almost in a different scale to that as
and Thailand, actually.
And then Thailand, but it's got its long straights in Thailand, doesn't it? A niggly track at times.
Yeah, Thailand, I feel like it's a Masia track with that long straight, that drag from turn 1 all the way down to turn 2.
And the championship will still not be decided then, because we're going to have the final run-in to a home round for Daniel Holgado back in Valencia. For now, he sits in third after a third place.
Daniel, that was a busy race. Almost second. How do you feel about third in the end?
Yes, was an amazing race. Was very fast. Jaume today was incredible, but yes, I am very happy because my feeling is back. I am fast now. I need to stay calm with the championship because the championship is very long. Nothing. Now relax and ready for the next rounds.
Congratulations.
Yeah, good to see him back there. There's been nervy moments over the last few weeks. This is this last corner again. It looked like Tasaki was thinking about the move. Holgado obviously pushed hard, but a bit too hard here.
Yeah, look, the back wheel just skips on those on the serrated edges of the curb and just drops off the edge.
It would have been, if he had crossed the line second, he'd have been relegated to third.
Exactly,
anyway.
yeah, the rear definitely touched the green. Good effort, though. If you're the team there, having where he'd been recently, you'd be still very happy with that. Look, they look slightly disappointed. Look, a decent crowd.
Yeah.
See
Oh, definitely, it was a decent crowd. It was slow coming in, wasn't it? But we have queued down the road before, haven't we? Trying to get into this racetrack. So, home rider, Ayumu Saki. What's he got to say to all the fans?
Ayumu looked like you were getting frustrated there mid-race with Dennis, but second in the end in your home GP.
Yes, I was comfortable sitting up back Masia, so I'm disappointed. I think I had the same pace. Also in the end, he was fast, but I was on the same pace. I wanted the win, so very disappointing. Team did a great job to fix the bike a little bit more, you know, was more acceptable to ride, and I did my best, and it's also my girlfriend's birthday today, so I want to say happy birthday to her, and thanks for everything.
Great job, congratulations.
Oh, happy birthday to you, Mercedes. A little prize, little trophy for them to take home. This was that
be a good
final
shot.
corner.
Watch this, watch his back wheel. Right. Thank you. Best feeling in the world. Honestly, you're like, thank you very much, I'll have that back.
But exactly, he said then exactly what we thought. And he did. He had the same pace as Mazia. That's why he couldn't close, because they had the same pace. Essentially, Dennis Onchu ruined his race for the win.
Yeah, absolutely. And his own. And everybody else's, really. Good old Dennis. I won't mind, but Michael interviewed him on the grid and he went, well, I'll see what my pace is, but I'll try and extract basically the most out of it. And then didn't listen to his own advice.
Hey, no doubt about the class of the field today. Jaume is here, back-to-back wins.
Jaume, that was a wonderful display. You had to work your way through, ended up winning by a good gap. You're leading the World Championship.
Yeah, it's an amazing feeling. Today, for sure, I was expecting another race, looking yesterday results and my feeling. But, well, I understood the track was not on the best conditions, so I tried to learn as much as possible where were the wet patches. So, yeah, mentally it was a really hard race because these guys were really fast also. And, yeah, let's say it's also thanks to my team, and I also want to say thanks to all the people who's looking me at home in the morning.
Great job. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Knackwurk.
Congratulations to Jaume Masia, his third victory this season. He has been the man to beat all weekend, hasn't he, in this category? He didn't get the best of starts, but he got the job done in the end.
Complete class act. He did exactly what he needed to do, got himself to the front and actually played into his hands, the three of them being behind him. Once Dennis Onchu got his hands on the other two, made a few messy passes right at the wrong part of the race, really, just where they were getting into a bit of a rhythm, where Masia was finally finding his stride. He said there was a few wet patches. He's obviously found where those were, and that was it then. He was away. And once he gets into his rhythm, he's so difficult to beat because he's so fast, so consistent. He doesn't make mistakes, and you saw it there. That's exactly what happened.
Let's pick up on what you said about Dennis Onchu, because it was Onchu that got the good start off the line, but then was kind of getting in people's way, unnecessary moves. You kind of have to question his race management, Michael.
We were questioning him a lot last year. It seemed like he'd steadied the ship and he was a lot more consistent in the early part of this year, but he's aggressive. That's his nature. So if there's an open door, he wants to stick his bike up the inside, and it does sometimes cost him time in terms of race whenever you can sit in there and just follow the wheel in front. But look at this back and forth with Holgado at the final chicane, and then they're letting Masia get a little bit of breathing room, so they're just allowing Jaume to break free. So up here. This was a little bit messy on the direction change, and in the end I think his head's a little bit flustered and he eventually makes this mistake up into the hairpin. So yeah, as Neil said, on the grid he said he was going to control his pace, but that doesn't look like much of a controlled rider from my viewpoint. But yeah, he's fast, he's aggressive, that's just his nature.
Yeah, I mean, he's great to watch at times, but I mean, yes, he's young, he's only 20 years old, but this is his 4th season in this category. It's not like he's not got the experience. Ultimately, he paid the price himself, didn't he, at the end? But you can see how others, like Ayumu Sasaki, were getting frustrated with him.
100%. And it's almost like the way they train with these. I mean, we talk about he's not got much experience because he's a young rider, but they race so much. That is what they do every single day. They're racing and racing and racing. So he, over anyone, should have more racecraft than anyone. So to let someone get away like that, I think what he was thinking, he almost panicked that he's going to get away and I need to get to the front. But Sasaki actually had the pace. He didn't need to make a messy pass on Sasaki. It wasn't like Sasaki was going slow, but he panicked at that point, made a couple of messy passes. Michael said when there's an open door, he goes for it. Even when there's a closed door, he still has a bit of a look. So that was the point that cost him. And then, yeah, a silly mistake that's really costly for the championship.
What do you think it cost Sasaki first place, potentially? Because he said he had the pace like Jaume Masia, almost was 3rd, but managed to get the run on Holgado at the end.
Yeah, I think he would have raced him for it, but Jaume on current form, I'm not sure if Ayumu would have toppled him, although at home, still seeking out his first victory of the season. Ayumu might have found something a bit more, but yeah, Jaume's the class of the field the last few rounds. He's really stepped up his game, his consistency throughout the practice sessions and race day, and because he works in that manner from Friday practice, and he's easily capable of doing it on a Sunday.
So the top 3 in the championship, the top 3 on the podium then. Celebrations about to get underway. Let me hand you back to Gav.
Thank you very much, Natalie. Yeah, all the big wigs are down underneath the podium. You saw there as well from HRC. It's a big one because Honda have won at home. And you feel like that might not happen up in MotoGP later on. It may well happen in a way in Moto2, of course. That's the next race, because they've got a 1-2 on the grid in Chantra and Ayogura on a Triumph bike, but with Honda sponsorship, of course, on it. That's coming up in Moto2 for now. At some point, they will get up onto that podium here. Spanish flag proudly displayed on top for Jaume Masia. Actually, talk about Valencia being a home round for Daniel Holgado. He's from Alicante. It's the same for Jaume Masia. They are both Valencians, so they could well be jockeying for the title at their local track. That would be a grandstand finish to the season. You wonder if Ayumu Sasaki will also be in the mix there. So Daniel Holgado back onto the podium. Listen to the rise in applause for Ayumu Sasaki, always very polite. I would say like a golf crowd, isn't it? But then I've been watching some of the Ryder Cup, and that's not a polite crowd, is it? So Jaume Masia gets up onto the top step. Interesting when you look at the record of the riders this year. Masia and Sasaki both have 8 podiums. Of course, Sasaki no wins. Holgado and Masia both have 3 wins. But Masia has 1 more podium. That's why it's so tight at the top, as the Leopard team take their award for another race win. So the president of the Japanese Federation hands over the trophy to Daniel Holgado. Unfortunately, can't translate whatever Japanese is on the bandana. It might be gambate, which is often the favourite. You might have seen that on the back of Valentino Rossi's leathers over the years. Essentially a go for it, hurry-ups phrase, as Ayumu Sasaki has done just that for his home crowd today. Podium number 8 of the year. Podium number 8 for Jaume Masia, but crucially a 3rd win, and it means he is now the solitary leader in this World Championship. 6 points clear of Sasaki, 9 clear of Holgado, but still 150 points to play for. Jaume Masia, your race winner in Japan.
Champagne time here for the Moto3 category. A great Japanese Grand Prix that has put the title hopes right back on. Masiya, Sasaki, Holgado, 1, 2, 3 in the race and 1, 2, 3 in the title. Thanks for your company. We'll be back in around about 15 minutes time for coverage of Moto2. Stay with us here on Twitch, and if you're on YouTube, it'll be premiering next. Thank you very much for your company. We'll see you soon. Next time. Bye-bye.